because when you notice, when you look at Boyz II Men, so their first album was very much like your first album, very New Jack and R&B. Their second album, they moved them to become more adult contemporary, getting Babyface and Jimmy and Terry and doing more sort of ballads and sort of songs that can cross over. When you did your second album, one, I was surprised Teddy wasn't on there, but then R. Kelly was still, he was emerging as Jive's new artist and stuff. Whose direction was it to think, let's keep you guys with R&B and not capitalize on Kissing Game type of crossover songs?
Right. I guess I would definitely say the company, the A&R at the company. I know Ann Carly, she was, I think VP at the time, so she really was hands-on with us. Kenny Mason, Linda Simmons, those were, executives at the company who kind of helped develop. And I recall we were still promoting, the first album. I think we were probably on Mary Mary may have been a single, it's third or fourth single by then, but they introduced us to R. Kelly and they signed him, and we were in Chicago, and we hung out with Rob, had a really good vibe with him. And so he's like, I'm gonna write some good songs for you guys. And I think we met in California a couple of months, maybe a couple of weeks later, and he started with Quality Time, and then he just kind of built from there. So I think too, like, we really, to be honest, we still didn't we didn't look at ourselves as pop artists, even still. It's kind of like, we wanted to stick to our people, our culture, and Tony's style was really, soulful. That's what the way I saw. And so, we just kind of stayed in that lane. But it's funny you say it, because there are still people who says, hey, y'all were a pop group, and that's a compliment now.
Yeah.
It really is a compliment, because a lot of the arenas we played, like we did Disney,
Wow.
for 2 years in a row. So that to me is really, a stamp of approval that you're accepted by the pop genre.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you guys were clean cut, and you were different from Jodeci, because when they came about, they almost became bad boys of R&B in the way they dressed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When they did come out, did it change what you guys thought you may have to do, or how did that influence you at all?
Yeah, like, we were kind of always just flipping back and forth. And I do remember a time where, we wanted to be, kind of more Jodeci style as a parent, and hey guys, no, that's not what we're gonna do, and we didn't realize at the time that it's best to have your own identity,
Yeah.
And so we kind of went through several phases, but we realized, hey, that is what our fans expect of us, is to be the clean cut. And our songs obviously were about, genuine relationships and things like that. It wasn't just necessarily geared towards, the sex and things of that nature. So, looking back now, I think that was a benefit of ours, just being like a genuine, reaction between a male and a female. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How much influence did you have as a group and even personally with the direction of the kind of songs you're doing? And even having able to contribute as a writer?
Not really. Like we never, we would listen to songs and kind of just give feedback and input. But one good thing I could say is that, the guy William Rawson, who was in my, the group with my uncle, he stayed around, and he was always kind of essential in helping us listen to songs, and he, would help us choose songs, and he would always co-write on some things. So, I think his influence as well kind of helped us stay in that love song, relationship type of format. Yeah.
Did you know about publishing and writing and how long-term beneficial it was to be able to?
I did not. You don't learn that part until it's almost too late. So We never wrote or produced on any of our music.
Wow. Did you guys know how to write or stuff?
Um, like we thought we did. Sometimes we would, hey, let's change this word, or fix something what we thought felt better. But I never really dealt with writing much then. It wasn't until later on that I kind of developed a style for just putting my words on paper.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's strange because some people tell you that labels like people who don't know much because the more you know, the less they're likely to want to deal with you because it's more like you're going to ask too many questions. And that's the sad thing that you sign up and no one tells you that if you don't sing your own songs, you, you don't,
Yeah,
in the long run, benefit from that. When did it
for
all
sure.
catch up to you that, hey, what's going on? We need to publishing and stuff. Was it after your third or fourth album or what was?
Yeah, yeah. Like so, once we left Jive, and we signed with Giant Records, we kind of started trying to negotiate in our favor for things, and we did. I think we got a decent deal, but unfortunately, the label didn't last long. So
Yeah.
they released Tony's solo project, but never got around to the group's project. Yeah.
Okay, so before we get, because you know your second album, Keep It Going, had the R. Kelly stuff. Quality Time was really powerful. Especially I'm thinking '92. I'd already moved to Alabama by that time, going to college, and it was it was really one of the songs that we were hitting playing quite a lot, and it was a very different vibe from the first album. Um,
Mm.
then and then you're torn, then you come up with Fateful. I mean, I look at it and thinking from 1990 to 93, you're just releasing 3 albums. Was Jive looking to say, let's just capitalize as much as possible? What was because normally it's like a 2.5 year gap before they release an album, but that was 3 albums in 3 years.
Right. Well, I do know that I think the third album was more like an exit program for us because by then we were already looking, to move elsewhere. And so it was like we signed a 3 album deal with them. So
Okay.
now it's like, hey, you're gonna give us a third album before you leave. So, not necessarily rushed, but they wanted to make sure it happened. So we didn't even really promote the second album
The second or
as
third?
the second album as well
Oh,
as we wanted to. And not to mention, we had a lot of personal things going on. The accident happened.
yeah.
One of the members decided he didn't want to be a part anymore. So we were dealing with, a lot of internal issues. So I think the company just saw that as, things are going downhill. Let's go ahead and get this third album done, so we can be prepared for whatever comes. So in the third album, by then, I think that, we were all just kind of dealing with, the changes that came from being in the business and, trying to figure out as, young adults, how do we move forward?
Not long after you guys leave Jive, they sign NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and Britney, and they become the biggest label at the time. What would have been different if you guys are still around with the backing with those guys?
I mean, hopefully we would have been involved, with just a piece of their success. And, I think just being able to have had an opportunity to collaborate with any of those artists, would have sustained us, a lot better. But I think the best way I could put it is their experience from working with us allowed them to be able to, do what they did for NSYNC and Backstreet and
Yeah.
obviously Britney. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.